Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I've got a post here from Greg Bell, and he says, my key takeaway from Wall Street Blockchain Alliance Global Summit yesterday in NYC. The institutional era of crypto isn't coming, it's here. So many insightful panels on how Wall Street is embracing digital assets and building the future of finance. Okay guys, as I've said to you before, we're at that point now, and this is why when it comes to this drop, this liquidation event that we've had, don't get me wrong, I'm as frustrated as the next guy, right? I really am frustrated about it, because to me the thing about it is that it was a manipulated event. So if this was an organic crash, I'd just say, okay, still would be frustrated, but I could just accept, okay, that's just how it goes. But the fact that this was manipulated, I feel a bit cheated, right? I feel a bit like, we're kind of being cheated out of our position to try and get to where we should be getting. And when we're so far into this bull run, well, if the bull run is still going on, and, literally Bitcoin was at $126,000 ready to keep going, it just destroyed the momentum. Do you know what I mean? And so, yes, it is frustrating. But the thing that I will say, the reason why I wouldn't just sell and give up now is because we're literally on the verge of crypto being mass adopted. Now, when I say on the verge, it doesn't mean that everything's going to happen within the next, few months. It could take years to get everything thoroughly adopted, but we're seeing crypto in the mainstream media now. So this is where we should start to see things coming together in terms of the value coming to these chains, and, which cryptos and which networks are really going to stand the test of time, and which ones are really going to make it. Because make no mistake, when it's all said and done, when the, full regulations are put in, a lot of these meme coins and stuff like that, they most likely aren't going to make it, right? They most likely aren't going to make it, because at the end of the day, they don't have any kind of utility. And so when there's certain things that they have to stand up to, certain, criteria that lets them have longevity, the meme coins are probably not going to have that, because they aren't designed to do anything, right? They're literally just hype coins. They're just people making coins, and a lot of them are just rug pulling their community, right? They build up a community, they all invest into it, hoping they're going to, get their lottery ticket and make a lot of money. And then the people just take advantage of that by rug pulling them. We've seen it so many times. And so, when I look at what they're talking about here, embracing digital assets to build the future of finance, I really see Hedera's future within that. And it does make sense to me that it's Greg Bell saying this, because Greg Bell is obviously part of the Hedera Foundation. He's building up the contacts. He's there because he's trying to see where things are going. And it's clear. It's very clear. We've seen that from when, Trump got into office, he was pro-crypto, and let's be honest, he stuck to his word in that regard. He has been very pro-crypto. Granted, I will say I do think part of that is because he's in a position to make a lot of money from this, and I think we've seen that from, the insider trading that occurred off of the back of the Trump tweet that caused all the liquidations. But nevertheless, he's pro-crypto. And so, for me, look, all I'm saying here is we're literally on the cusp of all this getting to the heavier adoption stage. Things are being trialed out. Hedera is being trialed out by the Bank of England. They're doing a trial with them now, a DLT challenge. So, we're seeing all this stuff occur. We can see that this stuff is coming now. And so, I can't give up at this point, at this last hurdle. Do you know what I mean? Because, for me, the way I see it is, look, even if I don't get the money that I want right now, let's just say we go into a bear market from here. In the long term, I do still believe that they're not going to be able to suppress these prices forever, because eventually the prices are going to get higher. They're going to be more adopted because, the value is actually not just on speculation. It's because these cryptos are being used for, utility reasons and stuff like that. And so people are seeing value in them because of the actual utility that they provide. And so I don't think it's something they can suppress forever, right? Now, it may take a long time, and it may be a very bumpy road, because they'll be trying to shake people out along the way, and they'll be trying to manipulate the market for their own gain. I do believe that will occur. But ultimately, I don't think they can just suppress the prices forever, right? I just don't think they're going to be able to do that. And also, you got to understand that, if Trump is trying to make money from shorting the market, you best believe he's going to try and make money from longing the market as well. So not only is he going to short the market, but when he thinks the market's going to go back up, and don't get me wrong, he's going to be in a very good position to make that guess because he's the president, right? So all he has to do is put out some positive news, then the market will start to roar again. So, for example, he said, oh yeah, we found a trade deal with China and everything's great now. That will get the markets excited again, right? Of course. So, because Trump can just bend the markets to his will, like we kind of just at the mercy of what Trump feels like doing on any given day, right? Like that kind of thing. But the point that I'm making here is long term, the value is going to come, guys. Like you can see, like these companies, Wall Street, they're all saying that, yes, we're embracing digital assets. Like we're changing the way finance is done. We're changing the future of finance, and DLT is going to play a part of that. And I really believe Hedera is going to play a big part of that too. And so just two quick examples to just further on to that point. Okay, so we have here the Hedera Foundation saying, last month we led 2 industry firsts with Archax. 1. The launch of pool tokens, unlocking on-chain multi-asset portfolios, enabling institutional investors with new ways to build, transfer, and manage diversified baskets of assets. So yeah, this is something that I did cover at the time. And, the more I've thought about this, the more I've realized how big of a deal that actually is, to be honest with you. Like the fact that they can just create their own, portfolio of assets. So, when you just think of like the S&P 500, just imagine that you could make your own S&P 500. Like you could say, I'm going to make an S&P 20, and it could be the top 20, like media companies, the top 20 technology companies, whatever. And even if you want to mix it and say, okay, I'm going to take some companies and I'm going to also mix it with AI companies, and I'm also going to mix it with crypto as well. So it's going to be a basket of different types of things. It could be some traditional finance, and it could be some new decentralized finance. So the way you can mix this and make your own like baskets of like tracking, ETFs, etc., that kind of thing, like that's going to be absolutely huge. It's an absolute game changer because, investors have not got to stick to the rigid confines of what people are giving them, right? Like it's not like, oh, you can only have the S&P 500. It's like, well, I'd like an alternative to this, but I can't, right? But now you can. Now you're in that position to do so. It's giving you a lot more flexibility. So I think that's a really big thing. And the second thing here, we have Lloyds Banking Group PLC and Aberdeen PLC used Hedera-based RWAs as collateral for foreign exchange through Archax, signaling institutional finance moving from pilots to production on public blockchain infrastructure. And there you have it, from pilots to production. So this is actually happening now. Like we're not just talking about, these test runs and stuff like that anymore. We're actually talking about this going public now, and it's actually happening, right? It's actually going into the actual phase of doing it rather than we're trialing it, we're seeing how it goes, we're doing test runs. No, like it's actually happening. So this is proof that we are at that stage. And this is what I mean when I say, guys, like I get the worry in terms of what's happened with the market. I do completely understand that. And I understand the frustration side of it because I'm more frustrated. I'm not scared because I do believe in the future of cryptocurrency in general, and HBAR being one of them. I believe in its future, so I'm not scared. I'm more just frustrated. But this should show you guys that long term, like this is where we're going, like adoption. And you can see that Hedera is one of the networks that's being adopted. So to me, it's like, yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I want to sit here for another 3-4 years for another bull run to come along if we do go into a bear market now. I'm not saying that. I would much rather we still have the bull run by the end of this year. We all go happy having our profits, and we can go home and enjoy our life-changing wealth. But what I'm saying is if that doesn't happen, let's just say it doesn't go that way, I'm not willing to just say, okay, I've had enough, I give up and I'm just selling. I'm not willing to do that because I still believe that at some point in the future, whether that's another 2, 3, 4 years from now, that point is going to come where the price is going to come back. And I don't think they're going to be able to keep suppressing it forever. Now, I don't think they'll make it easy. I do think we're at a point now where we might have to acknowledge that, hey, we are just in a manipulated market now. And they're a lot more brazen about it. This isn't going to be like a sneaky thing where you're not sure. This was clear as day, insider trading and, exchanges basically wiping the books. So, you know, they're flushing out leverage holders, etc., because they don't want to get into financial ruin. It's as clear as day to me, that's what it is. So, you know, like, we're at that point now where it's like, is that just how the market's going to be going forward? Because yes, it is going to be difficult, because there's going to be a lot of shakeouts, a lot of fear. And it's not just that, they're destroying the charts when they do stuff like this, right? Like, Blockchain Backer said this before, like, when this type of flush happens, it takes months to recover, if at all, right? So it's very possible that this whole thing could have destroyed the bull market altogether. But if not, it could take months for us to get back on track. So yeah, that is frustrating. Of course it is. But we have to deal with it. And when I'm showing you things like this is the stuff that gives me the confidence to say, I'm not selling. I'm just not going to sell. So if this is what it is and it doesn't go into a bull run, okay, that's a shame. I'm not happy about that. But I see where it's going long term. And for me, when I look at that, I think the long term still appeals to me in a very big way. And so I'm willing to wait if I have to. I'll do it begrudgingly, but I will do it because to me, the future is very bright. And I think Hedera is a part of that personally. I think Hedera will stand to benefit greatly from crypto adoption. So this is just stuff that I'm trying to show you guys that the truth is here. It's here if you want to see it. And, you know, I understand the worry. I get it. So I'm not saying that, you know, there's anything wrong in that, having doubts and stuff. But just think bigger picture. You know, think bigger picture, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I think where we can see that crypto is going, if you're in the right cryptos, I think you stand to greatly benefit. I really genuinely do believe that. And for me, just my personal opinion, I think HBAR is one of those cryptos in which you'll greatly benefit. That's just my speculation and opinion. So that's how I feel. Up to you guys what you want to do, but I thought I'd share this with you to give you some more reassurance. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.